Since we,
I can leave.
since obviously we talked to the freshmen a bunch today, one of the things you always hear people say is that it takes a little bit of adjustment to get used to the offense here, just because it's different than other places, and just asking them about how their adjustments. What's been your sense, I guess, in general for freshmen, and how these guys in particular adjusted?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, Ben, and say that if you ask any college coach, not just Georgetown and the Georgetown offense, they would tell you it's a big adjustment to learn what they're doing. So I don't think how we do things here is any different than what they're doing anywhere else, and I don't think the adjustment here is any more difficult than anywhere else. Now, to these guys specifically, I think it's been an easy transition. I won't say seamless, just because as a group across the board, they have very good instincts. As a group across the board, they make the right basketball plays most of the time, and our offense is based on making the right basketball play.
Hey, John, this wasn't without Drake. I like how the coach Mack earlier. He said that playing in the WCAC, as you will know, is akin to playing in the Big East at that level. How much does that help playing like Drake? That's what he said. That's what he said. How much does preparing to playing arguably the best high school conference in the country, get you ready for the Big East?
Well, I will say that WCAC, and I'm biased on many levels, is one of the, if not the best. And I've seen most for several reasons, not just because of the talent level in the District Maryland, Virginia area, but also because of the quality of the coaching across the board in that conference, and that the guys are getting coached. They are getting coached. Demands are being made on them, and so they are just. And there are multiple. There are many schools that are good. I mean, every night you're going to have to play. Now that being said, as I just said to Ben, it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment on the court. It's an adjustment off the court. But I mean, you look down through time. A lot of guys that come out of that conference, the adjustment has been smooth.
And as someone with allegiances to Gonzaga, you had to see something pretty special in the St. John's guy, right, to recruit you to play Georgetown?
No, I mean I look for good players, no matter where they are.
What did you
Chris
see?
Wright with the St. John's.
What did you see in Dre that initially thought made you think this guy could help the team?
Well, I think Trey can run the team and Trey can make the shot, and that's at the offensive end. From a defensive perspective, I truly think he's just now starting to realize how he can affect the game defensively. I think he may have looked at it as a necessary evil in the past, but I think he's starting to embrace how he can affect the game defensively.
You mentioned adjustments on the court and off the court. Traditionally, with freshmen, which is the biggest challenge of those two? Which do you feel more?
It probably depends on the person. As with every other student, but it's just going to college is an adjustment. As everyone who's fortunate enough to do that understands. I mean, the demands in the gym are more than the demands you're used to, no matter what conference you're from. The demands from academia are more than what you're used to. Your day gets smaller. Your day, as a freshman, most freshmen are like, I don't have enough free time. Because whether it's lifting before class and practice, and then you're tired and exhausted, and you have to study, and it's. I don't think there's one. It's a big adjustment all around.
Marquette uses 3 guards, zone defenses to run problems and chip around. Talk about the importance of getting back against them.
Yeah, and so I mean that's something that their transition offense is very, very good. And their offensive rebound is very, very good. And they do a good job of mixing up their defenses. They've shown man, in Providence they show mostly 2-3 and 1-3-1. But they'll mix it up. They try to keep you off balance. But getting back and trying to make them work for the baskets is essential.
Did you the team respond to that? Xavier come home, get the win, and then you risk it?
I think we did respond. respond to that. I mean, I think offensively and defensively, we share the game and we create the game maybe as well as we have this year. You know, and I tell our guys, if you're willing to make the extra pass, if you're willing to move hard, if you're willing to make the right reads and don't predetermine what you're going to do, we can shoot 75% in a few more halves also. I don't think that was a blip if they stick with it and trust each other.
Is it nice to see that potential come together like that because you know that that's what these guys are capable of?
Can I say no? Is it possible to say no to that? No, it's not nice. Of course, it is. And I think they see it more importantly than me seeing it. Me understand. I think they see and they understand.
And I mean that mainly because you've said all year about the potential with this team and what it can do when all cylinders are clicking.
Well, and now it's time of the year where it's got to get there.
You've gone up against Coach K in the past. How much do you see of his formula system, what have you, in what Marquette's doing right now?
I haven't compared and contrasted.
What's the biggest concern?
They have good players. They play very, very hard. They're a team that, as I said in answer to Ron's question, they'll give you multiple looks. They'll try to figure out what's going to work. You know, we have to be prepared for an array of defenses. And so just matching, not matching, but exceeding their intensity levels.
How do you take advantage of backcourt that's 6'2", 6'2", 6'2", given your size? I mean, how do you do that?
I don't know. I don't think we're going to overthink that process. You know, especially because they play a lot of zone. So we just have to keep the ball moving. Their zone is very good. Their 2-3 is very, very good. Some 2-3s are right, just stagnant. They're existing. So usually when they go to that, they go to the 1%.
One more on the court, off the court question.
What are you writing the article about?
Take a guess. You're a freshman. In the era of some of the ones and done, I guess enough scandals out there, one that now seriously some of these things like that. Selling off the court to freshmen harder than it used to be.
Selling the off the court.
In other words, that you know, it is there's Georgetown, and we take it seriously. You got to do your books. You got to.
I don't think it's. That is something that we always have talked about.
But when you're pitching to a recruit in this era, has it gotten harder over the years?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. We are who we are, and what I mean by that is we take a lot of pride in our institution. And when you leave here, you will have a Georgetown degree, and everything that means once that air comes out of the basketball and you can't bounce it anymore. And you try to get guys. We have tried to get guys that appreciate and understand that as much as they want to grow and develop their game, they understand that they want to grow and develop their mind also. Now, that doesn't mean we don't want one and dones, or two and dones. Otto Porter, Greg Monroe left after 2 years, but the time that they were there, they understand, they appreciate, and they're still working on their degree. And so just because you are a very good basketball player, because you possibly will have the opportunity to go professional after 1 year, or 2 years, or 3 years, or get your degree after 4, the two worlds can easily coexist. It's not necessarily a divide.
Someone asked you earlier about Trey Campbell, what first sort of caught your eye with him. Same question, I guess, with Paul White. What did you see there to make you think he might be a good fit here?
Paul, first thing that just popped in my mind is Paul's a natural. Like everything comes to him easily. He sees 1 or 2 steps ahead, and he can play multiple positions. With his size, he can go depending on the matchup, he can go in the backcourt and start our offense easily right now. He can be at either forward position, and so just his versatility and just the way he sees was the biggest attraction.
In that way, there were similarities between you and Seattle.
In a very different way, and so they both see, they both understand. Yeah, but they're very different.
What is Paul doing right now to help you guys? I'm obviously making
A little bit of everything. He needs to rebound more, which he's heard from his coach often. You know, but like I said, he can go in there. He competes. You know, I think that's one thing that this freshman group, they came in the door ready to compete at this level. You know, everyone has to grow. Everyone has to make adjustments. Everyone has to adapt. You know, adjust and adapt. But they walk in the door ready to compete at this level, and he does that.
Going back to Marquette, they average 16 assists per game, 4 guys averaging over 11 points. How important is it for you guys who are playing passing lanes, and just kind of where are the different challenges of having that high score?
Well, they do a very good job, the nature of your question, of sharing the game. They make the extra pass. They look for each other. And much like, very different, but much like our last game, we have to be attentive. The 4 guys that aren't on the ball have to be attentive, you know, because quickly it gets swung around, quickly your man is involved in an action. And so off the ball, you can't get caught staring, watching the game. You got to be, you know, I said this before last week, anticipating what's going to happen next, and they force you to do that just because they have multiple guys that can score, guys that can get to the rim, guys that can make shots, and post presence, big kids back. So we don't want to dot our I's and cross the T's across the board.
Anything else for Coach?
The whole, the 9 ounces of air and so forth, the message itself. Does it feel like you're more of a voice in the wilderness these days, or is it's just a part of the silent majority that just doesn't get the attention that say?
I can't speak to the world.
Right.
I know what is important here, and what has always been and what always will be important here. And regardless of what anyone else does or doesn't do, this is Georgetown. And this place is not for everyone. That's a fact. But if you embrace what everyone else has done, you embrace this institution, you embrace the tradition, on and off the court, it's no better place.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, John.